Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Shesha Srimabadi Paschata Desha Tarin Vancha Kalpataru Vishya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavane Vaishnave Bhavanam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaran Jana Jashodanandana Braja Janaran Jana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Jambanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Gurudev Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripurajagacharya Statara Sri Srimad Bhai Charnavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Binda Ki Jai. Namacharya Silvadas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Nandasri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Samaveta Vaishnava Binda Ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jayam Ananta Krishna Vindaki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharinini Vishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshotarini. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Mothers. Welcome to our back to Wednesday Bhagavad Gita class. Let us chant the mantra that purifies our consciousness so that we can see the Lord's presence through His words in every pages of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashtaprayesu avadreshu nityam bhagavato sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki mukham karati vachalam pangulangayate girim jadgripatamaham bande Sri Guru Dhanatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isharam. So we are beginning from the text where we did not discuss much. So this is in 9th canto, text 29. And hopefully we can complete that. And if there's a time, we can go to text 30 if we have time. Let's see. Samaham sarvabhuteshu no me deshasti no priya je bhajanti tumam bhakta mai te teshu chapiyaham. Srila Prabhupada's translation is, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So this is very wonderful assurance Krishna is giving. Yes, Lord is impartial to all, but when you do some service to please the Lord, He actually favors you. That does not mean that he is not impartial. He is still impartial. But if someone, impartiality doesn't mean you don't reciprocate. So this is what very nicely explained here. When question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, I think we discussed, maybe not, that is he impartial to all his disciples? And Prabhupada replied, yes. But at the same time, he said, when some disciples are expressing want to do so much service, it also appears that he is reciprocating or giving attention to them. And I think I gave an example in one class that where Vishnujan Swami was appreciating Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, in response, he said, I am merciful to everyone, but you are taking it, accepting it. Thus you are appreciating. So who are appreciating Krishna consciousness? Those who are taking it. I may be there in the temple, I may be with the devotee, but I may not take it. I'm there like impartial. I'm not involved. So accepting or taking means you are appreciating. That's all. It's very nice. Nice way to look at it. Someone is appreciating Krishna consciousness, mercy of the devotees or Krishna, that means they are taking it and they are going to find the benefit of it. Anyone would like to read Prabhupada's purport from the audience? This is 9.29. If you have book in front of you, you can just read it. 9.29. This is a beautiful verse, beautiful quality of Krishna manifest. So far, up till now, Krishna has spoken how worshipping all other gods, not ultimately benefiting to anyone. Because you go to, when you worship demigods, you go to demigods' planet. One day demigods' planet will be finished. Demigod also will lose their position, their form, their reciprocation. So you'll have a disappointment. It's temporary. Yes, it's a long life, but still it's temporary compared to eternal life. And then Krishna stressed that point, that problem of worshipping other demigods, it's limited, at the end is disappointing. But if you worship Krishna, you can get an eternal life. Okay. So anyone has, would you like anyone to read? Anyone would like to read Bhagavad Gita 9.29? If not, I'll just read. Let's see.
I can read it.
Okay, here it is, Prabhupada's purport. One may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone, no one is his special friend. then why does he take special interest in the devotees? Who are always engaged in his transcendental service? But this is not discrimination. It is natural. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity, in whatever form, is his son. Pitaham, in Bhagavad Gita, he said that I'm the Aham Bija Prado Pita, I'm the seed-giving father. So he did accept everybody as his children. He provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessity of life. He is just like a cloud which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on a rock or land or water. But for his devotees, he gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They are always in Krishna consciousness, and therefore they are always transcendentally situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists. Situated in him, the Lord says here distinctly, Mai te, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. There is actually another verse in Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter. Sadhava hridayam mahayam sadhunam hridayam taham mad annit na janati naham te pamanangapi. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotees are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and at the same time, the diamond is glorified. The Lord and the living entity eternally glitter. And when a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is a diamond. So this combination is very nice, like that. The Lord and living entity eternally glitters. When a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like a gold. It's a very nice logic Prabhupada put. The Lord is a diamond. So, when you have a diamond ring, that's what Prabhupada said. So diamond ring, what holding the diamond? The gold. So devotees are gold, and Lord is the diamond. So it's beautiful combination, and it actually enhances beauty of the person who is holding it. It's beautiful. The Lord is diamond. So this combination is very nice. Living entity in pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes the devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocal relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme Lord and the living entity. But in the personalist philosophy, there is. The example is often given that the Lord is like desire tree, and whatever one wants from this desire tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial to the devotees. This is the manifestation of Lord's special mercy to the devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation in which the Lord and the devotees functions. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of the material world. It is part of the spiritual world where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. Thank you, Prabhupada. Such a wonderful purport. Okay, so here is the discussion that if you look at that verse, let's look at word to word meaning, very significant. Samaham sarva bhuteshu. Sama means those who are familiar with Sanskrit or Hindi or Bengali, they also use the same word. Sama means equal. So I'm equal to all living beings. Na me deshasti na priya. I'm not jealous to anyone, nor anyone is specifically dear to me. Now, after describing this, Lord is telling, Je bhajanti tumam bhakta. Those who worship me, what happens to them? Like we chant, means we are serving the holy name. We honor the prasadam. Of course, we cook for the Lord and offer the bhoga and then honor the prasadam. So that's also service, serving the Lord. We are circumambulating the Lord. We glorify Him. We discuss about His wonderful qualities. And so these are all a service. And when you serve the Lord, He feels obliged. So this is what the beauty of it. Then Lord says, Mai te teshu chapi aham. Mai te teshu cha api aham. They are in me and I am in them. It is very endearing, isn't it, when you hear that? Who doesn't want to be very dear to the Lord, and who doesn't want to make Lord feels dear to that devotee? It's so wonderful. So it is very endearing declaration of an intimate connection of the Lord. So he says, Moi te, they are in me. Te teshu chapi aham. I am in them. So the Lord in Bhagavad Gita does not talk about endearments like this too frequently. So when he talks about it, it is significant. Not too many sloka you will find like that. So this is very important sloka. We should memorize that if possible. So in first two parts, he's saying that he is impartial in, but after that he says, I am I'm partial in those devotees. Je bhajanti tumam bhakta. Those who worship me, then he again says, Mai te teshu chapi aham. They are in me and I am in them. That means we are very intimately connected. So these sorts of descriptions seems, you may say, contradictory, but they are not contradictory. It depends on which level of manifestation Lord is talking about. Soham sarva bhuteshu, samaham sarva bhuteshu is referring to Lord as a judge. Samaham, I am equal to all. Isn't judge is equal to plaintiff and defendant? Yes, that's what judge means, impartial. So what Lord Krishna is saying is correct. So a judge gives whatever the person is destined to get. So a judge is not partial. So Krishna makes it very clear in the beginning. Then he claims, Je bhajanti. So then the second sentence, or third sentence you can say, starts with his personal, not as a judge anymore, but the judge in his own house. When judge goes to his house, in the court, you cannot order. Nobody can order in the court to the judge. You can request to the judge, but you cannot order. And judge doesn't have to follow anybody. That's why his name is judge. you address, your honor, like that. But in his house, when he come home, the same judge, mother may call him, hey, give me a glass of water. It doesn't matter you judge or not judge. You are related to mother as a son. You gladly bring a glass of water. A child, baby, daughter, or son may say, I want to ride on your back. I want to ride on your back. He may say, I am a judge, but at home you are not a judge. You are going to be a horse, and the child will climb on your back, and you're going to give a ride to your child. So similarly, we can see it's not contradicting or conflicting. I mean, naturally, we can see that. So Bhagavan aspect, what does he focus on? As a Bhagavan, he focuses on principle of pure devotional service. Krishna is impartially partial. So how is that possible? Isn't that an oxymoron, you may say, in one sense, which means contradictory words brought together in one verse? So definitely partial towards his devotee. Srila Prabhupada say, a charitable person may be charitable to all people, but he's naturally more affected to his own children. This is not considered a fault. Similarly, it is not considered a fault that Lord loves his devotee, who are like his own children, in comparison to all other living entity or living being. So who are also existing in existence. So actually, all the children, but some are his loving, obedient children, where other are defiant, hateful children. So Lord offers his care to everyone, but the intimacy of relationship are not possible to everyone. To be honestly, there are people in this world, I have nothing to do with God. Leave me alone. So Krishna say also, okay, I leave you alone. I'm not there. You will not see me. God doesn't exist. Don't worry. He's reciprocating with them too. So Krishna is impartially partial. Means he is impartially in terms of opening the door for everyone to receive the benefit of his partiality. So the point is that Lord cares for everyone. But he cares of those who love me, love him. So that is why this verse is a glimpse of the heart of the Lord. Another example in the purport I find very interesting. Prabhupada says, the Lord and the living entity eternally glitter. I like this. It's very fascinating. Eternally glitter. When a living entity becomes inclined to the service of the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is diamond. What a wonderful combination, Prabhupada writes. And I have a vision of that because I used to sell diamond gold like that. So this combination is very nice. Srila Prabhupada said, without the principle of reciprocation, there is not personal philosophy possible. So basically, Krishna is reciprocal. We should always remember, Krishna is reciprocal. Srila Prabhupada quoted from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that the example is often given that the Lord is like desire tree. Whatever one wants from the desire tree, the Lord supplies. So this example of Lord as desire tree is given by Sridhar Swami, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said Lord is not only desire tree, which act as a desire fulfiller, but also a relationship builder. Very nice. Lord is a person who cares for those who come to him. So the example he gave, as if person goes and asks a desire tree. Desire tree will fulfill the desire, but the desire tree will not become attached to the person. The desire will not strive to protect the person on one's own accord. The desire tree doesn't become enemy of that person's enemy, but the Lord does all this. So Pandavas, as the devotee, become attached to the Lord, and the Lord also become attached to the Pandavas. You can see when he visited Yudhishthir Maharaj expressed for him to stay for some time, and he stayed for months. Just imagine, oh, only supreme absolute truth spend months with someone. That means he loves Yudhishthir Maharaj, he loves Arjuna Pandavas like that. So devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of the material world. I like Prabhupada's purport, it's so nice. It is a part of the spiritual world where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominate. That means this is a transcendental activity. This is a part of spiritual world. And to the extent we situate ourselves in this activity, to the extent we also become situated in spiritual world. This is very nice. Now, of course, I mean, we can relate in many ways. You can look at it. This is a one sloka. You can meditate on it whole day. I'm sure none of you would feel good if your parents are partial towards your sibling. I mean, you can think many ways. Maybe something happened in your life that somebody was partial. Or in the school, when you go to school, if a teacher is biased towards your classmate, what do? It is natural to expect from one's superior or guardian a similar treatment as one's equal receive. And any discrepancy in that leads to disappointment. So perception of partiality is painful. Could demotivate people and slacken their spirit. What if one sees partiality in God? Generally, even, even non-believers will say, well, God should be always impartial. This is their expectation. Yes, God is equiposed. He is eternal Father of all living beings. And Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. I mean, even in this chapter 17, 18, he says, every living entity is part and parcel of me. 515.7, Mameva Angsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. He didn't say particular soul. He said all souls are part and parcel of me. And he loves everyone. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivas. Saranam Surit Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam Nidanam Bijam Abhayam. All these verses actually says that how he is impartial. He loves everyone. And his child as his child and hates no one. He also says that he's especially inclined towards devotee. So that's why this verse is the most attractive. And each of us can see in a mystical way in your upbringing in Krishna consciousness, how you reciprocate with the Lord. I mean, to be honestly, without Krishna, it will be difficult to live in this world, difficult to live anywhere. And more we depend, more we actually reciprocate we will come to a point you do not want to live without Krishna. Now, question may arise, how is that he shows favoritism? Well, Lord Krishna descended into this world in various incarnations to revive Nitya Dharma. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatuskitam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. Those verses are very prominent. Even Karmis, they use those for a movie I saw one time. It's interesting. So to favor the demigod, the Lord incarnated as Baman Devi, you can say. And he killed Hiranyaksha. We just recently read about it. And he later took the form of Nishingadev and killed the demon Hiranyakashipu. So to reinstate Indra as the king of heaven, the Lord appeared as Bamandev and took away the kingdom of Bali Maharaj by cheating. You may say Bamandev is cheating. Yes. So when the demigods and the demon churned the milk ocean, big Samudra Manthan, nectar appeared. And at that time, what did Lord do? He came in the form of a beautiful girl, woman, Mohini Murti, and cheated the demons. And gave all the nectar to the demigods. He even beheaded the demon Rahu, who tried to drink the nectar in disguise. So several pastimes or history from the Bhagavatam, Puranas, we can see that Lord cheated, subdued, killed the demon, showed his favoritism towards the demigod. Is he therefore known as Surapriya? There is actually a verse even, or one of the name of 1,000 names of Vishnu. Surapriya means he is favorable to the Suras, or the, not Asuras, opposite to Asuras, Suras, demigods. Why is this disparity? This difference in treatment is not exactly Krishna's partiality. This is the point. We have to think that way. But his reciprocal nature. Some expect God to fulfill their material desire. Some expect to be one with him, like Gyanis or Karmis for material desire. But some selflessly serve him with no expectation in return. And Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 4:11 that he reciprocates with people according to the mood in which they approach him. Je jatha mam prapaddante tangstataiva vajamyaham 4:11. I'm sure you all know. So that is why different people achieve different result, although their endeavor seems similar. Human eyes, we have a human eyes. Human eyes sees the external endeavor. Prabhupada said devotees' eyes sees the attitude behind the endeavor and reciprocate accordingly. Or you can say Shastra Chakshu, advanced devotee or Krishna. And you cannot say it is a partiality. One who is influenced by the three material modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, Sattva, Raja, and Tama, exhibit partiality on a material plane. The Lord is transcendental to the three modes and is beyond the dualities of happiness and distress of this world. He is self-sufficient, does not derive happiness from the demigods. He is fearless, nirbhaya, doesn't get distress from the demons. So he has nothing to achieve by favoring the demigod or destroying the demons. So he need not be partial like ordinary selfish materialistic people. In the case of Samudra Manthan, if you look at what Sukdev Goswami said, Evam Surasura Gana Samadesha Kala Eto Artha Karma Mathayo Pifale Vikalpaha Tatramritam Suragana Phalam Manjasaspur Jadapada Pankajaraja Seyanan Daita. What does that means? The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity, and the ambition were all the same for both the demigod and the demons. But the demigod achieved one result and the demon another. I hope you all catching up. The place where the milk churning was taking place is for both same place and same time, not like a different time. Same cause, everybody wants an nectar. Same purpose, they gather together, they are cooperating. The activity is also the same, not like one is doing one, other doing other. I mean, they share, they're like sharing. The ambition were all the same, but the result, demigod got one type of result, demon got another type of result. So then question comes, how is that? So demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. One who is satisfying the Lord gets his special mercy and attention, while others don't. Srila Prabhupada writes, any activity performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. As a result of such activity, the performer is immediately recognized. The only distinction between materialistic activity and spiritual activity is that the material activity is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as long we can understand from that angle that any activities performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. And as a result of such activity, the performer is immediately recognized. The only distinction between materialistic activities and devotional service, that material activities perform only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activities is meant for Krishna's pleasure. Isn't it natural? Isn't it natural for anyone to reciprocate with others according to the way they approach him or her? If someone treats us respectfully, we also give them respect. If they mistreat us, we may stay away from them or even tend to speak or act against them as the case may be. For instance, a teacher in the classroom gives the same lecture to all the students without discrimination. But if some students are more eager to learn and approach the teacher with relevant inquiries on the subject, I mean, you can see even in our class, in our study group, even in the temple class, we become happy, or the teacher become happy, especially happy with the inquisitiveness that you want to grasp the subject matter, more details. It pleases the teacher. Krishna was so kind to Arjuna. He asked, have you understood? If not, Krishna was ready. Just imagine, 640 million people are ready to kill each other. And Krishna is ready to repeat the whole discussion again. This is not Krishna's partiality or teacher's partiality, but a natural response towards the student's behavior. I hope you all will agree. Similarly, although the Lord is equal to everyone, but he gives more attention to his surrendered devotees. This favoritism, Prabhus and mothers, is not Krishna's fault, is not teacher's fault. You can say it's his ornament. Lord Krishna is specifically inclined to his devotees because they approach him with devotion. Sincerity and service attitude, they seek his shelter, depend on him. That's why other day we were talking in the temple. Does God hate bad people? No. God hates no one. Whether bad or good doesn't matter. God hates nobody. It is not in his nature. You cannot show me any reference. I literally strongly believe that. So God, but there is a question. God disapproves the nefarious activities of demoniac people. If somebody is torturing some other people, that God will not tolerate. But he never disowned them. He endeavors to rectify their mentality. He is willing to forgive their misdeed, but he never interferes with their little independence, free will. Srila Prabhupada writes, why does Supreme Personality of Godhead permit sinful activities? I mean, I'm sure some of you probably thought, why bad things happening? Why God, without God's permission, nothing can happen, but why God allow? Well, Prabhupada also explained that Krishna does not want any living entity to act sinfully. And he begs him through the good conscience to refrain from sin. But when someone insists upon acting sinfully, the Supreme Lord gives him the sanction to act at his own risk. Matta smriti gena apahanam cha. Who is responsible for Ajamil's fall down? Well, Prabhus and mothers. Things can pass through us. We are not responsible for things are passing through us. But we are responsible for their dominance. Dominance means I contemplated, I allowed to think about this bad thing, whatever it is. And I'm contemplating and reflecting, then I will be affected by it. That is need to be understood very well. Because literally, Krishna never wants any soul to actually suffer or do wrong things. But if the soul is stubborn, if that conditioned jiva is stubborn, then Krishna allows him to learn a lesson by suffering, going through. In America, we see the mothers, they give time out to their children. And if you really go deep down, If you see the incident, you may think like, oh my gosh, she's so heavy with her child. Yeah, we are watching only one side, but she cares for that child more than anybody else. She wants that child to grow up as a gentle, as a good person. For his own benefit, she is giving time out because he's behaving so bad. So similarly, Krishna also do that. That's why I mentioned this many times. It's so striking that end of the battlefield when Duryodhan lay on ground with his thigh broken. Prabhupada write very nicely, Krishna was not happy to see him so. And Prabhupada writes that this fall or fall of Duryodhan, he's the eldest son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing Krishna. Now you may say, well, isn't Krishna advised Bhima how to break the thigh of Duryodhan while the fight was going on? Yes, the Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer. Now you may say, what did he do? Well, to disrobe the most chaste and famous lady Draupadi, you think it's a good activity? Who would support that? Anybody support that should be punished immediately. She was so well chaste, well known, respected, respectable, coming from a royal family. And because he has the upper hand, he defeated the Pandavas in the chase game. He could do such thing. This is not good at all. Why God should ever tolerate this? No human, nobody should tolerate. So the Lord is constrained to award punishment upon the wrongdoer. But he is not happy to award such punishment because the living entities are originally his parts and parcel. He's harder than thunderbolt. Yes, Prabhupada also said that for the wrongdoer. And also for the, he's very soft, softer than the rose. You know, rose, like you don't even feel, you can stab it or touch it with the hand. So soft. Krishna is also very soft. To faithful devotees. So the wrongdoer is misled by bad associate, by ill advice, which is against the established principle of the Lord's order. So he becomes subject to punishment. The surest path to happiness is to live by the principle laid down by the Lord and not disobey his established laws. Just like we have in ISKCON, 4 regulative principle, chanting 60 noun minimum. And I know some people have it difficult, but they should try harder. It will please Prabhupada and Krishna, and they will not suffer. So Lord Krishna tried several times to give good advice to Duryodhana. Did he listen? No. Krishna literally Marto jada tekta Marto jada tekta nivedito atma vichikishito me Marto jada tekta. There's a beautiful verse in 11th canto that where Lord revealed his confidential truth to Duryodhan before he left this world. that Durjadhan, this Pandavas, Nivedita, yeah, that's right. Nivedita Atma Vichiki Shitame. Marto Jodatekta Samasta Karma Nivedita Atma Vichiki Shitame. They are Nivedita Atma. They have their surrendered soul. These Pandavas. I am the ultimate origin, supreme proprietor of this kingdom. It is not you, Durjadhan. It is not you. He revealed this secret. And these Pandavas are my devotee. They deserve to rule this kingdom, not you. Because you never care to obey even one instruction I gave. Nothing. Even in Ram Lila, we see when Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi, Lord Ramchandra gave him several opportunities to return Sita. It's not like he immediately went and killed Ravana. No. He sent messenger. Shishupal was envious. If you look at the history of all those demons that Krishna killed, but he did not just kill him. He gave him each of them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. He cannot force, but out of compassion to destroy their bad mentality and not affect others, he killed them, give them liberation. That is his grace. Of course, they still have to have a attitude. Attitude is our personal asset. How I love God. This is attitude. Krishna is never going to create that for us. We have to, love is a individual, independently individual choice. You want to love Krishna or not. It's not by force. So when a child is well behaved, we see in the family life, mother appreciate, gives a hug to the child. Oh, you are so nice boy. Okay, we can go and play in the playground. You know, she gives a lot of. But at the same time, if the child really behave badly, mother also chastising. Both are expression of her love. But of course, one appears pleasant and the chastisement may appear harsh. But mother's dealing with the child is tuned to the mood and the need of the child. But her underlying emotion is love. Whether it's a timeout, chastising, or wonderful sweet word or hugging, that's also same. No difference to her because she has a love. That was underlying principle. So when God is strict with some people, punishes them, that is only out of his compassion upon them. And when he kills any demon, he's just liberating him from demoniac life. And that's the Lord. Every way, he's a well-wisher of everyone. He shows compassion on different people in a different ways as per their condition. We see even in Putana's story, Lord gave her a chance to become a mother. Of course, she wanted in previous life. Even though she came to kill Krishna with deadly poison, Stanakala Kutam. So like this, we have to always think Krishna according to he reciprocate according to our attitude. Attitude is greater than magnitude, we should always remember. Even in the case of the devotee, the Lord is not partial towards those devotees who do more service and neglect others who do less service. He accepts the mood in which the service is done. What is that? Murkha bodhati vishnaya sadhava bodhati vishnave ubhayastu saman punnam bhavagrahi janardana. For him, the attitude behind the service is more important than magnitude of the service. I have done so much service, but if my attitude is horrible, Lord is not looking at. We always mention this beautiful example of Lord Ramchandra was equally pleased with the Hanuman who was bringing a big boulder, and he was equally pleased with the squirrel who hardly gets anything, just a little dust between the hair. Uh, in one sense, you can never build a bridge with that. But Lord Ramchandra was not looking from that angle. The boulder is more than the dust. Some people are rich, some people are poor, some people often suffer, some enjoy more. Suffering people often compare themselves with others. And they may say God is partial. They blame God for their misery, while the happy people ignore God in their enjoyment too. This shows people's tendency to claim credit for their own happiness and blame God for their distress. However, mature devotees see both distress, happiness as God sent as a result of their own past deeds and do not blame God as partial. The Lord is not partial to anyone, but just reciprocate with the mood and deeds of people. Krishna is especially inclined to the devotees because they love him. We love him and we serve him with all our hearts. And Krishna is merciful to the demon as well. But owing to their negative attitude, it appears like he's punishing them mercifully only to uplift them. In either case, he is supreme well-wisher of all living beings as a loving father. And it is 6 o'clock. Wow. I have to go to another class. We have an ashram class from 6. So, Prabhus and mothers, thank you for joining. This is a wonderful session. Please meditate on this verse and feel happy, joyful in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Looking forward to see you all next Wednesday. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki